Kinfolk Isaiah. We are live streaming once again. It's a Friday. It is October 17th, 2025. Wow, how time flies. Man, the year is almost over. We're staring Thanksgiving right down, to the wire. But Halloween haven't still got here yet. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen a big following for Halloween yet as far as the popularity goes, but it's still a popular holiday in the United States. We're going to be doing this thing with some cool topics today. Me and Isaiah, we're going to kick it down to you, the viewer, which is our family. We consider you family. And we want you to go ahead and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Those subscriptions are climbing. And guess what, folks? We're on TikTok now. We're going to be putting some stuff on TikTok ASAP. DC Stewart Show Podcast at TikTok. And we're going to be talking as kinfolk as always, and we hope everybody's doing fine today, health-wise, spirit-wise, and everything. I see my main kinfolk, Isaiah, has got that hat on and that black shirt, or green shirt, should I say, and a black hat
You're
with
right.
the trimming on it.
No, you're right. It's black. Your eyes are blurry.
Black. Exactly.
Black and gray.
But Papa was a Rolling Stone. That's how I'm going to leave it, all right?
Yeah.
How you doing today, man? What's going on,
man?
With you?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. I'm doing blessed. I'm highly favored, man. Feel so great because this is like the weekend. Friday kicks off the weekend, and nothing better than having my Canes play tonight. And we gonna give them guys a good whooping, man. We owe them, so we can drop hopefully to that number one spot, because people are playing footsies with us, got us at number 2, and then you got folks are saying that we're the best team in the country, so why we're not number 1 then? So get it straight, you guys. But yeah, man, the night is the night, so we got to really have a good hard showing tonight, and we got to put some pressure on those guys the moment the first whistle blow, and send those guys back home to that cold, because it's starting to get cold up there in Louisville, from what I heard. So they come in here and you sunbathe and get your whooping and go back home. So that's how we're going to get this handled.
Well, Kentucky is always cold, by all means. It's always cold, and it's especially in the wintertime, because that's more so toward the north. Kentucky is right up under Ohio. Ohio is super cold.
Yeah.
And just, overall, I think that there's a cold environment up there. But we're here, and we're going to go into the first topic, and we want to talk a little bit. Well, first of all, it's still National Breast Cancer Month. So since it's National Breast Cancer Month, try to find a charity of your liking and a charity of your choice, and give back. If you have an opportunity to give back, give something back. Doesn't necessarily have to be for breast cancer, but we respect the scientists and the medical people that's behind trying to solve breast cancer. Breast cancer happen in women, but it could happen in men. So you don't hear a lot about men, but men do. Some men have suffered breast cancer and have passed away due to that. I want to send out a special tribute to my guy, D'Angelo. We talked about D'Angelo a little bit earlier. Michael Eugene Archer, by the stage name of D'Angelo, R&B, rhythm and blues, soul, neo soul, progressive soul, a little bit of jazz flavored into all of that. He passed away at 51. Our hearts are broken over here. But you know what? He's in a better place in terms of, he going to the right place, because he was a good person. And whenever you're a good person, you're going to flourish wherever you go, right?
Yeah. He's going to be united with his wife. And, we just had a nice tribute to him in one of our earlier shows. So, yeah, just to piggyback off of what you just said, what a beautiful soul, man. And guy inspired so many artists. I mean, really, with me listening to his music and his lyrical content, I always loved it. It was, right at the edge. It was, sexy, and, the women love the sexual content of it. And then he had some stuff for the men to show you how to treat a woman, and, be a good man, and to love on her, and have some good times. And, that's one thing we need more of, some of that good music, where it's live music, is talented stuff, where people put their heart and soul in the creativity of it. And I love it, man. Yeah, we got so much things happening this weekend too in terms of sports, bro. And I can't wait. This is the night it's going to kick it off with the Miami Hurricanes tonight. But yeah, this is supposed to be a nice weekend in terms of the weather. So we're gonna give these guys a spanking tonight. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get into our first topic and let's talk a little bit about the NFL. The NFL currently, as we see it, we're kind of right at the week 7 point, I believe, going into week
yeah,
8 for the
mid-season.
NFL. And before we get into the NFL, I just want to send a special shout out to the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. I'm so proud of all of those guys. They haven't finished this series out yet, but they're up 3-0 on the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, the Dodgers players, all of them have showed up. I mean, even the stars to the guys who make a difference, the Mookie Bettses of the world, the Freddie Freemans of the world, Max Muncies of the world, the Will Smiths of the world. I can go down that roster, Teoscar Hernandez, Kike Hernandez. And this is Kershaw's last year, Clayton Kershaw. So he announced his retirement. What a fine thing it would be to see Clayton Kershaw go walk off into the sunset with a second championship. Where he's got 2 already, so he'll have his third. But I just can't say enough about Mark Jacob and Magic Johnson, and that organization is just a
Yeah,
fantastic organization. I love
yeah,
them to death over there. We go to 1 game a year, my wife and I, and we love it. We always go to a game, and so far we're undefeated. We haven't lost one yet. So I guess we're good luck charms for them, right?
yeah. You got to spread your hustle and go to more than that. You just
Yeah,
play in the
yeah, that's a
perimeters
good
of it.
point.
But
I
so
plan
much
on doing
fun to go
that.
to these games, DC. It's like you and I are football guy and track and baseball was like our third sport, but it's as you get older, you get a chance to really cherish that sport as well because it's hard. They got less amount of people than football on the team, and that means you got to select
Yeah,
them the most talented ones to go on a team. And what's so gratifying about it, their careers could be expanded longer than most football players because they don't have that contact.
correct.
And it's just really good to get out in that environment to watch baseball because it's I mean I've gotten to love softball as well. I watch a lot
Oh,
of
softball is
women's
awesome.
softball in college, man, and to see how talented these young ladies are and relentless and the certain degree of pride that they have, and it's almost more deep than women's basketball, the passion that they
Yeah,
have for it. So it's nice to see these women sports start to progress and people take notice of them because it's not an easy task to go to those degrees in college and in pro sports because there's a limited amount of folks can get there. So it's just good to see the talented. People don't realize the time that folks put in to be as good as they are because you don't just pop up and say, okay, I want to play softball or baseball or football, any of that stuff. You got to put some time in, and it's just
you
years
do.
of dedication you have to put in to become a professional. And it's really nice to see people express themselves because it's nothing different than playing a song or writing a song. It's the same thing. You got to put the time in,
You got to
you
put
got
the
to
time and
practice
the
it, and
effort and everything
yeah,
else in
same
there.
thing. Yeah,
And nothing
yes,
comes cheap, nothing comes
nope.
for free, and
Mm-mm.
nothing comes from not being able to put the a proper amount of time and you're not
Yeah,
giving up. And because there's
hmm,
going to be bumpy roads, there's going to be speed bumps in
absolutely.
the road. You're going to constantly see that throughout your life, no matter what age you are. You could be young, you could be middle age, you could be old. It's just going to be those obstacles in life, and you just have to overcome that
Yeah,
adversity to be able to be successful at anything you want to be at.
hmm,
Because if you look at how that Dodgers team is constructed right now, they didn't win 10 years ago. They were having trouble getting to the playoffs. There was even chatter about Dave Roberts's job security, who was the manager of the Dodgers. And by the way, he's one of the best managers in baseball right now, David Roberts.
Yeah.
And they put in the time. Mark Jacobs and his group came in along with Magic Johnson. They got the right kind of players in there. They were able to get these Japanese players, these international players. They have Shohei Ohtani. They have Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And they have Roki Sasaki. And Roki pitched last night. Roki's a 23-year-old pitcher that just signed last year from Japan. He was over in Japan pitching. So what a difference a year makes for baseball, and especially for an international player like Roki Sasaki, who he was in the Japan Baseball League, but he never could have imagined that he would be in the playoffs, the NCLS playoffs, technically one game away from being in the World Series and having an opportunity to win the World Series. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has already won a ring. Shohei Ohtani has already won a ring, and I'm proud of those guys. I'm proud of everything about the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Miami Marlins is going to get ready and turn around, too, because they have one of the Dodgers position coaches, and he's the head manager of the team now. So I expect them to be better. They played really tough when we saw them back in April. So the Miami Marlins is definitely going to be there on the map. I owe Isaah one, maybe next year when Dodgers, when they travel to Miami, we'll definitely
on down,
try to come on down, have a little tailgate over at Marlin Stadium, where the Orange Bowl used to be, and
your favorite hometown is down the street, DC. Yeah, your one of your spots you like to eat is right down the street, Contown.
Absolutely,
swing over there and get
Hey, by the way, congratulations to Trick Daddy too. Trick Daddy got his own street named after him. So I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of Luther Campbell. City of Miami is definitely a special type of city. They call it the Magic City. They do things the right way in Miami, as far as I'm concerned, especially when it's honoring social causes and African Americans and different cultures of people that live in the Miami and the Dade and Broward County area in that southern portion of the state. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about this Pittsburgh Steelers game and how did they manage to lose this game against the Cincinnati Bengals, who do not have their starting quarterback, Joe Burrow. They just got Joe Flacco on a trade. And I think the trade is still 2 weeks old, maybe. And he started last night. And listen, it's embarrassing for Pittsburgh's secondary to allow Jamar Chase to have 16 receptions for 161 yards and 1 TD. I'm going to say it again. The Pittsburgh Steelers secondary is an embarrassment to allow Jamar Chase to take over that game, him and Joe Flacco, and help the Bengals overcome the Steelers. Now, the Joe Flacco was 31 for 47 for 342 yards and 3 TDs. Just 3 to 4 years ago, the man was sitting on his couch. He wasn't even playing football until the Cleveland Browns called him to come back to the league to try to help them get to that next level. Isaah, how does Pittsburgh always end up losing when they're supposed to win, and then they win possibly when they're supposed to lose? I mean, what's up with that franchise?
They just, it's so, to a degree, they're overconfident, man. They just so thrilled when they winning, and they just don't finish strong. I've seen them lose games like that for the last 5 or 6 years, where you think they got the game in the bag and they fool around and lose. And it's disheartening because I think the head coach, Coach T, is a good coach, man. And
he is a damn good coach. Coach T has been around too, right?
He's been around. He's won one championship out of it. And Pittsburgh are mad. The fan base are super pissed because they felt like they could have gotten more out of him in terms of winning more championships, because he's just a very good coach, man. He's been there. He's probably been there longer than any coach in the league at this point, DC. I think he's been there longer than any coach in the league now, close to where Andy Reid may have been in there longer than him, and that's it.
Right.
But not in one spot. But in one spot, he's probably been there longer than any coach in the league.
Absolutely.
And they're looking for more from him, and I actually Like him as a coach. I like him as a person. I think he means well with his players, but sometimes I think the players don't give him all they have to give, man. And he's got to do a better job, in my opinion, of bringing the best out of his players to make sure these guys play the entire game, all 4 quarters, because they just continue to come up short at the end. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like Flacco really had a really solid game. You know, because if you think about it, throwing for 342 yards as a veteran quarterback, and he used to do that like it was nothing back when he was
Yeah.
younger and when he was playing
Yeah.
for the Baltimore Ravens. But to have him come
Excuse
along and be to have a game like last
me.
night, he is
Yeah.
truly special. 31-47, 342 yards, and 3 TDs. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of veterans can't reshape or relive some of their greatest glories, but he did it last night. And, whatever Cleveland let him go, for whatever reason, they let him go, and it moves Shedeur Sanders up to the next position, which is the second stringer behind Dylan
Yeah.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying, I predicted it already, Shedeur Sanders will get a chance to start at some point in time. And that's not predicated on how Dylan Gabriel play. I just think Shedeur Sanders will get his opportunity to start as a professional quarterback at some point. And I'm assuming that it's going to be Cleveland unless they finish the year out with Dylan Gabriel and then they start, next year without Shedeur. That's the only way I can see him doing it. Since we're mentioning Shedeur, it looks like Rex Ryan made some very derogatory comments about Shedeur, and he had to back up really fast and apologize because I think ESPN they stepped to him and said that, look, you don't make comments like that, especially to a rookie quarterback, a young man that's trying to better himself and just trying to be better at what he's good at, which is a quarterback. And he's been good as a quarterback since he played Little League football. I don't know why Rex Ryan would say, and he said, stuff before in the past that's been questionable. These people tend to get on TV and they get in front of these cameras and they think that they in their own living room sometimes, I think. And they say things that they might not have meant to say. And I don't know what Rex Ryan's train of thought was, but I just think Rex Ryan needs to continue down the road because I never knew him to play any football. His father to me, was a good coach. I mean, a good defensive coordinator for the Bears for that 85 team. And then his father coached the Philadelphia Eagles, Buddy Ryan, and his brother Rob coached as an assistant position coach. Listen, keep your personal matters and personal, assertions to yourself, especially when it comes to trying to dress down a player that didn't deserve that. And Shedeur was very professional about it. He didn't say much. He didn't say anything at all. He let just the system take care of itself, and he's going to continue to play football. What do you think about that comment, Isaiah?
I think it was immature and silly and stupid. I mean, that's what he is, man. And you saying he need to channel things down and keep stuff that to himself. I'm glad he said it because it just shows you what was on his heart, DC. And
Mm-hmm.
people need to really take that to heart to know this man's frame of thinking. For him to say something like that to a rookie quarterback who's trying to find his way, he's got all of this stuff that he got hanging over his head because he's Deion Sanders' son, playmaker's son. I mean, primetime son. So, you're going to get these backlash. And the only thing nutcases like that big fat slob like him would say stuff like that because he's trying to pull other wicked people who have that frame of thinking like him to comment on that foolishness. And that's what's sad about what's going on around the world now with people saying stuff out of character or in character. If he said it, it's in his character because we need to spend more time uplifting kids like that. And he's been around, and his dad was a coach, and he understands what you say means something, man. You're talking about a coach that's been
Absolutely.
out there for so long. You can't just go around speaking ill stuff about people, man, because the guy's
I agree.
listening. Of course, the kid's listening. and you trying to throw down in the kid's head. The kid is young. He's still, like I said, he's trying to find his way. He's already got this roller coaster ride over there with Cleveland being what, fifth string, and then of course he's wiggle his way down to second string, and perhaps he's going to be first string one day, because if Gabriel go down, he's next in line now, so he'll get a
That's right.
chance to play. So it's
That's
just
right.
sad, man. And Rex, I mean, Rob, whatever the hell his name is, he knows better. He knows better, and because he could see
Rex
it
Ryan.
coming. He's a coach. You know, coaches understand players, and they know when they're getting ready to come into their own, whether they can make it or they don't cut the mustard. And he see that Shedeur is going to cut the mustard, man. He's going to make it. So he's just trying to play a psychological game in his brain to say he's not good enough. Everybody knows he's good enough to play in this league. You got quarterbacks right now who is not that talented but have a job, and not only have a job, they're starting. Shedeur going to get his moment. He's going to get his time, and when he get his time, he need to be ready like you never been before.
Need to be
Yes,
on
man,
top
because
of it
he's going to
for
get his
sure.
time. Yeah, he'll get his time to shine.
Yeah, his time as a shine is coming for sure. And getting back to this Bengals Steelers contest that the Bengals pulled it off, looks like Flacco outplayed Aaron Rodgers. I'm looking at the numbers here. Um, Aaron Rodgers didn't have as many pass yards, but Aaron Rodgers, however, did have more TDs. He threw for 249 yards, 4 TDs, but the blip here for Aaron Rodgers is the 2 picks, the 2 interceptions, and that kind of negated everything else that was being done, because if you look at those 2 picks, you could just, that's like points coming off the board for you, especially if the
Yeah.
other team scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say this, that the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm not completely convinced that they are championship quality
They're
at
not
this
yet.
level right now.
They're
They
not.
got a good start. They got a fast start, but that's due to the fact that Baltimore is having a really bad year, and because they're in the AFC North, and Cleveland is not doing as well, and Cincinnati is not doing as well. So that just leaves Pittsburgh to, be the top team in the division, wouldn't you
Mm-hmm.
say?
Yeah, I just want to see them play some successful ball. We grew up,
Watching the
watching the
Steelers.
Steelers, and the
Yes, we
Steelers with
did.
that steel curtain, and even with Bradshaw and Starworth and Swan, it was Mean Joe Green on defense. Those guys really, to me, almost was the America's team as the outside of the
They
Dallas
were the blue
Cowboys.
collar team of America,
Yeah,
technically. When Dallas
yeah.
was America's team with the star on their helmet, Pittsburgh was the blue
The
collar
steel,
team
yeah, yeah.
with the steel
Yeah,
logo on their
yeah,
helmet.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, man, I really I admire them, man. Just the whole organization and the owners. They came up with such a beautiful thing for minorities to be able to at least get an interview, and you just can't beat stuff like that when you got something genuine for people to just get a shot. They ain't asking them to do anything but a shot. And that's all people ask for, man, is a shot. If they don't make it, fine. You gave them a shot. But that's all they wanted, for folks to get out there and give them an opportunity. And that's all it takes for some people. You just give them an opportunity. You don't even know what you will get out of it. You got a person that can thrive at it. When
Right.
you just give them a fighting chance, just give them an opportunity. Let them show what they can do. And that's what it's all about when it's all said and done. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's move on to this next Andy Brown topic, and let's talk a little bit about Coach O, Ed Ogeron. Coach O has shown interest to re enter the college football landscape as a head coach. Um, there might be some options for him at the level that he's looking to be a head coach. The Power Five conference, in my opinion, I don't see him as being a head coach again in a Power Five structure. But I could be wrong, because I've been wrong before. Do you think that he can get a job at another big super powerhouse school like LSU?
Well, if people can, the hirees, if these presidents of these universities can put stuff on the back burner because he left LSU with some turmoil and some scandal. So if they can kind of focus off of that stuff, they may give him an opportunity. But they sure got to look at him with a bright lens to understand that he's been out of football for quite a while now. And football, you just can't leave the game. It's just like a player. You just can't leave the game. There's so much change since he was there. It's just
Right.
like when they were talking about Urban Meyer when he surfaced a couple times, recently. I don't think their philosophy don't entail to make that gel with these young players now. And that's just my opinion. I would love to see it happen if these guys still want to continue their occupation, because I never ever want to see a guy leave a job when he's still got that fire and desire to coach or whatever the endeavor is when they don't have that opportunity. He's been there before. He was a winner before. He's been on so many good teams as a coach. He's not necessarily in the head coaching capacity, but he's been there with LSU as a head coach and won a national championship. So he's expressed himself deeply to be able to get back out there, and there's going to be quite a few openings out there for him. And if it just see which team is willing to make that sacrifice, and to see if they got some extra money put to the side, because they're going to wind up firing his ass and they're going to have to pay him. So that's what's that's what's going to happen. I think the game has passed him by, DC. That's what I think.
The actual game has passed Coach O by? Because Coach O
Yeah.
has been in it for a long time,
He's
right?
been in it, man. He's been there for a long, long time, and to get his feet wet, he might want to just take a position job, just to be on the team, because that's a good start, because you're gonna make a couple $100,000 a year even as a position coach. The way they're dishing out this money, and if he's not hurt for money,
to get a defensive coordinator's position, he can make a couple million a year.
Of course he can.
He's capable of being a defensive coordinator, I think.
Well, it's a balance, man. And if you really want to get back out there, take a position job. You don't have all that stuff hanging over your head. I'm going to give you an example. You have Jason Taylor here at the Miami Hurricanes. I guarantee he's making several $100,000 as a position coach. I mean, you got Warren Sapp that's out there. I don't know what they're making, but they got some skin in the game. They're still coaching. They're doing the stuff that they love. Coach O probably don't want to take that back seat because he's been the head man before, and neither one of the two that I just mentioned never took a head coaching job yet. But they're comfortable where they are. I can see how comfortable Jason Taylor is. I can see how comfortable Warren Sapp is, and they look like both of them look like they enjoying so much of this game. So, Coach O, if you really want to get back out there, get your feet wet, go out there and take a job, stay there, and then branch on later on just to get yourself a job and do something that you really love.
Absolutely. We have a Annie Brown topic here, and I think you might be interested in this for sure, because it looks as though Nick Saban commented on the fact that Tua made the comments that he made about his teammates, and here's the quote from Nick Saban after Tua had later apologized to his teammates for some of the comments that he made about some of the players not coming to meetings on time or at all. And me and you talked about this with Tyreek Hill being late to that game that got him caught up with the Miami-Dade police.
Mm-hmm.
And you said back then, I wonder how much control does Mike McDaniel have to have these players, showing up late, especially if it's constantly showing up late. If you show up late one time, you get behind. Look, I started out and something happened and I couldn't make it. Okay, that's understood. But if you're showing up late on a regular basis, which we suspected that there could have been players that weren't showing up on time, even to the
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
That still needs to stay in house. I think that needs to stay in house because it ain't no one else's business, especially the media's business on what go on in that locker room. Now, he publicly called out some of his teammates amid the squad's 1-5 start for either showing up late or skipping players only meetings. So, with that said, it looks like Nick Saban said, quote, "I was really shocked that Tua did what he did when he threw some guys under the bus." Saban said on the Pat McAfee show, "Maybe they're not playing the way they should play. I'm not taking up for the guys, but you don't say that about your teammate." But I really was proud of the way he came back and sort of took accountability for making a mistake. Do you think that should be an acceptable apology for Tua to his team?
Well, DC, it's like when you mess up anything, man, and you apologize. Maybe you could do something even if it's personal as a friendship or a colleague. You can apologize, and if you say the wrong things or something that's so supposed to be sacred like that, man, and you could apologize all you want. They might accept your apology, but you damn sure lost your trust, man. It's not going to be able to. You can't rekindle that trust, man. It's gone forever and ever. And for Saban to comment on that, Saban commenting on that just as a guided father, because Saban coached him for all those years and he know him and he felt like that. But then look at what Saban said. Saban said that he was surprised. He was surprised because under his leadership, he wouldn't have said no crap like that. But then again, it still looked really terrible for McDaniel, man, because both of them are head coaches, DC. You're talking about two head coaches. You got one that's hardcore, old and stern. Then you got one little fragile, skinny, young, small guy in McDaniels. So it shows you right there where the power lies. You got the power lies in Nick Saban, who know damn well he wouldn't have said that under my leadership. And then you got McDaniel on the other side, who the guys are freely speaking out. I'm gonna give you another example. He didn't come out and said it, but look at the rant that Tyreek was saying for 2 years now, opening his mouth about this going on. I want to be traded. That's a sign of disorder. That's what it is.
That is a good point. Disorder. It's not, the locker room is not functioning at a level or a professional level that it should be functioning in. For a professional football team.
Yeah. I mean, it's nowhere in the world both of your leaders are out there running their damn mouth in front of a camera. It just won't happen. It won't happen. You want me to show you what the deal is with stuff like that? I'm gonna give you an example of a hardcore guy. Every time, and we talked about this last year, DC. Remember when Butler got out there and started talking that crap about the Miami Heat? Guess what happened to him?
He was out. He was gone.
Course.
He was short order.
That's the point I'm making. There it is. That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making, man. Pat Riley wasn't tolerating that crap, whether he was wrong or right. I'm saying Pat Riley now, whether Pat Riley was wrong about the situation or right in the reason why Butler would come out and tell the media. But the fact still remains, whatever happens inside that locker room stays there. That's why Pat Riley got rid of him when he started running his damn mouth. Because whatever happened in your household, it's just like a marriage, man. As close as we are, you gonna tell me what's going on in your household with your marriage, man. Because that's you and your marriage, and you take care of the situation in-house. Yes. Even though I'm your dog and we cool and all that, you work out that situation with your wife. You don't tell me stuff that's going on with your household. That's just part of keeping that circle tight. And so he just clipped the trust with his teammates, man. How can they trust you, man? You can apologize to you don't have a voice anymore. but they're gonna look at him like you did it, man. I cannot. You can't put that thing back in the bag. It's just like you squeeze a tube of toothpaste. You can't put that toothpaste back in that tube, man. It's gone forever.
Yeah.
And so he's done. He's done. I mean, the only thing will happen to him is he get traded or cut. That's the only thing. Because that same locker room cannot look at him in the same manner that they looked at him 2 weeks ago. You can't do it. Because these are the same guys who had his back. This is the same guy went to the hospital when he had these illnesses, when he had the concussions, when he had the broken Achilles, and all of some of these same guys, man. Because these guys were with him in college, so they know him. And they watch him endure these injuries and the sustained medical problems where it really shouldn't have been playing any more football. And they stood behind him. And it's just like nothing more different than you grabbing a knife and stabbing your guys in the back, man, because you betrayed these guys, man. So
That's right.
It's hard, man, when you got a guy who just opened his mouth and he's done. He's done. There's no way you're fixing it. You can't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On to the next topic of Andy Brown. We'll talk a little bit about Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. He was drafted really high up in the draft. And to me, I'm thinking right now, Atlanta made a good decision drafting him, especially when I watched him play against Buffalo. I mean, Raheem Morris, that brother is doing a fantastic job at Atlanta. And I'm so happy Arthur Blank noticed that. Because Raheem Morris is the type of guy that Sean, my handsome guy here, I call him my handsome guy. The Rams, the head coach for the Rams, Sean McVay. He said that everybody in that organization, even down to the secretaries, like Raheem Morris. So getting back to Michael Penix Jr., that youngster, he looks like he's got a lot of promise. Looking at his numbers, 1,168 yards, 4 TDs, 3 interceptions, but he's got a 53% QBR, and they made Buffalo look like Buffalo was just a regular team, especially from the defensive side of it, the way Atlanta was moving the ball on them. Do you think that was a good decision that Atlanta drafted Penix when they had Kirk Cousins already?
Yeah, because they're looking out for the future, DC. And, when you got a good organization, you just continue to reload. You find a guy who will fit your philosophy, you got to bring them in. You got to bring them in. And not only just bring them in, you bring a guy in, even if you have to will and deal him off because it didn't work, but you got to bring this guy in and give him a try. And you see good, balanced organizations do that all the time. Because even down to the fact that you bring this guy in and the guy who's already starting is just not making these plays, you might shuffle him off and bring in the guy brand new because he's younger and he fit your mold of your receivers, your linemen, because all of them young, and let those guys grow together. So that's the way I looked at that pick, DC.
Yeah, it was a great pick, man. And, at the end of the day, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be around for a long time because, like you say, he has youth on his side. So as long as he's got youth on his side, that's going to be a big, big thing for the Atlanta Falcons. And, they got Bijan Robinson, that little that star back that came out of Texas, and they got a really solid running game, and they have a really good defense. So that's going to help Atlanta get very far, especially in the NFC South, which Tampa Bay and the Carolina Panthers and those teams are in that division. However, Tampa Bay is kind of the cream of the crop of that division. So one last thing before we close the show out, it looks like Aaron Rodgers got pretty upset. He got tackled by one of his players, I think from a celebration standpoint of view, and Aaron Rodgers got up pretty pissed. Do you think that player should have tackled him like that?
Well, Aaron Rodgers old, man, and you got to realize how frail and fragile this guy is. And he's probably thinking just horseplay could have ended my damn career, man. And these guys are so happy-go-lucky, that stuff probably never came to mind. But it came to Aaron Rodgers' mind because stuff like that horseplay could have screwed him. And that's the way Aaron Rodgers looked at it because he's not thinking, damn it, you don't want to be congratulated when you had a good game, but you got to do it another way. Why do you think a lot of guys, they stop that chest bump? Because you got to jump up and bang. You know what I mean? Times I've seen guys try to jump up and chest bump and then one knock the other one over.
I know. I've seen that myself.
It happens so often.
I've seen it with coaches too. They chest bump those coaches and knock them down.
Knock them down. And that's what he's looking at, man. And how sad would that be? You got a guy horseplay and he jump on your back or something like that there and freaking injure your shoulder or your leg or something like that and you can't play anymore. And that's all he was really saying. But getting something to what we did not cover, DC, in the other segments is the mere fact that we were looking at the unsportsmanlike issue with the guy fighting at the end of the game. We were supposed to cover that.
And,
man.
Detroit Lions. And Dan Campbell was not happy with Brian Branch about that. And it looks like we said last week that Troy Benson, and they're going to have to drop the hammer because they can't have that kind of behavior after a football game, especially a professional football game. No professional sport for that matter, but definitely professional football. And Brian Branch should have thought better. He apologized, but it's too late. After you do something
we just said that. We just said that.
Your apology is kind of shallow to me.
It was so premeditated, DC.
Yeah.
It was so premeditated when you knew something happened to you in the game. Yes, it did. But for you to wait after the game and you sucker punch a guy like that when you're supposed to say, good game, guy, and we'll get him next time and all that type of stuff. I mean, I went to, and I told you this, DC, I went to a Little League game a couple weeks ago, and I don't see these guys doing that. Now they do congratulate, in the middle of the field. But remember, we used to get in a single file line and just walk by and at least give a congratulations gesture to the opposing team and just shake their hand. And it's good sportsmanship. And you fighting after the game, it looked like some freaking hood rat foolishness that was like on a damn street corner, man.
Where you got a Sandlot game playing.
It wasn't a Sandlot game. It looked like some freaking crap on a corner because a Sandlot game, we at least got our fight out during the game. You didn't wait till the game was over. You sucker punch a guy, man. And it's sad because you got so many kids watching these people play, man. And that's so disturbing to me when you got these little kids emulating these players and you do something stupid like that. And then the money really don't mean nothing because dumb and stupidity go hand in hand because when you got millions of dollars just to fine you $200,000, it really don't mean nothing to those guys because they let their anger go in the forefront of all the emotions to harness that stuff where you won't do anything because you just totally blank out the fact that there's small kids watching this stuff, man.
That's right.
And they're gonna see you do this, and it's not right. It's not comfortable with me to watch this because I know how these little kids think because they think deep about who they admire as a player.
Exactly.
And if they see them conducting themselves and behaving like that, they think it's okay, and it's not. Because one thing can lead to another. You watch these little kids like that. I'm going to give you an example, DC, and this is professional where there's more security there. You take a little league game like that and one player punch the other kid, don't you know his dad or his mom going to go out there and beat the crap out of you and there might be gunfire at that game?
Well, that happened. That happened with Aqib Talib's brother. Aqib Talib used to play for the Broncos, and I think he played for Tampa Bay for a little while. Aqib Talib's brother allegedly shot another guy and killed him at a little league football game over some trivial stuff.
They
had no business fighting about, It was trivial, and somebody lost their life, and you just hit on all of the fine points about how important it is to control your temper, keep it professional. If you don't like somebody, you're not you're not, obliged to like somebody. You're not obliged to shake anybody's hand. If you don't want to shake their hand, don't shake their hand. But you don't have any business walking
DC,
up, sucker punching somebody after
DC,
a
you
sporting
could
event.
in DC. You could sit right on that bench, or you could take your rear end in the locker room and forget about the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing. You don't have to go in the middle of that field with that type of malice and hit somebody, man. You don't
Exactly.
even have to indulge in any of the contact with them with handshakes and stuff. You don't have to do it. Just go in the locker room and take a shower and go about your business, because it's not going to end well, man.
Absolutely.
It just not.
And it looks like it ended with him with a suspension, which is going to be a fine included with that. And this is just
If
the
they
first time. You
suspend
do it
him,
again, we going to get you some longer time to think about it, and you might be out of the league if you keep it up. So just be
well,
aware of that for
people,
any player.
let's tell folks this, because this is the way it goes. Once you get suspended, you lose a game's pay. So if
Correct.
you're making $500,000, it's just not the fine that they're giving you. You got a fine and a suspension, meaning the team gonna take your weekly pay plus
Yep.
you have to pay a fine. So if you're making $500,000 and you get fined for 200,000, that's $700,000 you just missed. And
That's
you
right.
think about what $700,000 can do. And I know you rich and you got millions of dollars, but $700,000 can do a lot of stuff for a family,
Oh, no doubt
a
about it.
middle
Seven
class
hundred thousand
family.
dollars can take care of family for over a year if they manage it right. You
More
know.
than that, because if you think about 80% of the country don't make $50,000 a year.
That's right. That's right.
Understand that.
Yeah, he got
So
hit with a
yeah,
fine, and I'm glad you brought this subject up, because it's the point, and they're trying to get him to see and prove a point to let the rest of the country and the rest of the world know that, look, it's a privilege to play professional sports. Whatever sport you're playing, doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, you have to keep your composure and you have to keep yourself cool, even though you might be highly upset. They might have been talking smack to you during the game or whatever. But you go and get your money and you stay getting paid, and you go into the locker room if you ain't happy after the game, because nobody is obligated to shake anybody's hand after the game. I don't know of any NFL rules for that. Do you?
no, it's not.
Yeah.
I know if you are spokesman for the team, you have to speak to the team, address the team, but you are not
Right.
obligated to go over there and shake nobody's hand. You do not have to do that.
So he's been fined for $34,784 for one unsportsmanlike conduct infraction and two necessary roughness penalties prior to Sunday night. It says here he lost an appeal. He tried to appeal it. Brian Branch tried to appeal the suspension, and he lost in the appeal process, which he should have. I don't even see how the union would think about even trying to protect him with that
Well,
after that type of behavior.
they gotta play protect him, DC, because he's in the union. So they gotta go out there and play protect him. So they
Right.
gotta go through the process. But it ain't nowhere in the world they can uphold something like that, or to throw that thing out when he clearly caused the infraction. So I mean, for him to get fined $34,000, and he's not even a slap on a pinky finger, man. And he's appealing that. And he just
Well,
was going through.
here's a correction on that. It looks like his suspension marks the latest disciplinary action taken toward him by the NFL league office. So this is not the first time he's done something.
No, he's been losing his head constantly. So
So
that
he's
goes to
been
show
already
you.
fined 14 times in his
See,
NFL career, including 4 times this year.
what did I
And it
say?
looks as though
I
prior to
told you.
Sunday night, he had been fined for a combined $34,784. So it doesn't apply to the fine from Sunday night for the suspension. This is just the 4 past previous times that he's been penalized and been, admonished by the NFL, or whether it was a suspension or just a fine. Uh, he needs to keep his composure. Otherwise, he'll be out in the league. He could play semi-pro football and
Well,
earn 20,000 a year. How about that?
he gonna have to go to anger management classes, DC, because the guy cannot control and conduct himself like a professional. So I think, man, I would encourage you. Hope you're listening, man. Really, I've said it and I told you it's dumb.
It was dumb.
Harness your emotions, man, because you probably got kids, man, and you don't want your kids to conduct themselves like that. Because if you would do that with all the eyeballs was watching that game, somebody will get you pissed off in the street, and you would clock them, and somebody might lay you out, man. So just learn how to handle it different, man. Go over there and tell the guy in his face if you got to get it off your chest. That was a cheap shot. You know, I mean, go be a snitch. Go tell a ref that the guy gave you a cheap shot, because that's okay to be a snitch on that football field. The guy cheap shot me. You keep your eyes on him. Go snitch on him. But then don't go over there and take it upon yourself and go strike somebody, because, man, you just don't know. This guy, the same guy you strike, might have some friends on the street, might have might take care of business when they see you out there in the street. So you won't even see it coming. So, man, lay that down, man. Don't do that. Don't be out there pushing on people after no game, or punching people, man, because something deep can happen that you don't want brought into your life. So it's a game, it's entertainment. We enjoy this thing, so keep it like that. That's it.
Absolutely. So that'll wrap up our show for today, and we are so elated and so, man, it's just amazing that we are able to do this, and we have the opportunity to be able to bring our knowledge and our conversations, pretty much daily conversations, to our family, which is our viewers. And that's so important. We constantly, stress other people taking care of themselves and taking care of others around them. But that's one thing is for sure here on the DC Stewart Show podcast featuring Isaah and Najee. We take care of each other as three. So we're going to be looking out for each other. Najee, basketball season is right around the corner, so we will definitely be hitting hard on those basketball topics coming up at some point. And make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button, and we're going to close this thing out with Isaah.
Hey, beautiful segment, beautiful day. We had 2 shows today, but look, I enjoyed every second of both.
I did,
guys. I said all the time how much we enjoy this thing, how much we're gratified about our friendship and our partnership in this business, and we love it. It's something that we care so strongly about, because we've been knowing each other since we were small kids, 4 or 5 years old. And I wish other people had an opportunity to share that type of part of your life with somebody that you care about. When you know somebody's family, and as deep and long as we knew each other, and to be able to work with them, man, and you know how important that is and how special that is. And that's what DC and I have in common. But on the flip side of that, you guys have a precious, strong weekend, and enjoy yourself and love on the folks that you love and you care about, and be committed to that thing, man. Stay committed to that friendship and love, and tell your friends and family and coworkers that we are. It's a family affair with us, and continue to watch us and support us. All righty? Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy yourself.
Absolutely. Isaah summed it up all in a nutshell, so I really don't need to say much else other than make sure you take care of your health and mental health, physical health. And we will do this thing again. We'll be having another beautiful topic-driven show to recap the weekend. I'm going to go ahead and make my bold prediction right now. I got 2 predictions I'm going to make. Miami's going to get that business handled tonight against Louisville, and USC tomorrow will get that business handled against Notre Dame, who's going to be out here on the West Coast playing USC, the Trojans. Peace, love, and prosperity. We'll see you again soon. Take care of yourself. Peace, love, and prosperity.